Hi, I'm John Ford with theCUBE. We are here in Seattle, Washington to get a breakdown of all the news and announcements at reInvent. A lot to unpack. Julie White's here, CUBE alumni. Welcome back. I'm still on your home turf and I'm still away game for me. Great to see you.
Great to be back, love it.
Chief Marketing Officer at Amazon. You have the challenge and opportunity to present the great news that's out now in the wild.
Yeah.
Pretty needle moving in Amazonian terms, game changing on a couple fronts. One, I love the AI factory kind of positioning, how that leans more towards kind of cloud plus next generation. But the frontier agents really is, I think, a real level up, legit next level kind of capability. We've seen the agent hype. People are playing with agents. You're seeing some use cases. And then the Nova news, I think will democratize model building and bring what was a very expensive proposition to a data estate.
Yes.
So if anyone who has data brings in, so huge news. Where do you want to start? I mean, I love AI factories since I've been talking a lot about AI factories first. What does an AI factory service mean for AWS?
Right, well, as you know more than anyone, a concept of AI factories is a big conversation. So what we're bringing forward is a very opinionated AWS AI factory that gives customers that ability to kind of build out the AI infrastructure they need, particularly for highly regulated, sovereign needs, kind of very large scale, right, for that class of customers. And we're bringing our expertise to their infrastructure, right? So with their data center capabilities, with their GPUs, or we can bring ours, but our services and running that. Like we've got almost 20 years of know-how of how to do this at scale better than anybody. So fusing that with this kind of unique customer optimization and how we do it is the genesis of that idea.
I mean, it's interesting because AI factories is, to me, just a bunch of, the way people are building out in the market, you see other people doing it, it's a lot of servers. And the cloud, you guys have done that. I mean, core competency is building large scale systems.
Right.
I mean, the networking is hot now on some of these large scale systems. You've been doing networking in your systems. But the other core competency I find interesting is that you're building data centers too. You're actually deploying billions of dollars. I think we've covered those news. Is that tied in? Are you going to bring data center, like large scale factory data center, Amazonian service level to people to build data centers or to use Amazon services in your data centers? I mean,
what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So let's step back. What's the need for the customer, right? We have these really big customers who need large-scale AI capabilities, but they need it, customized to them. They need it in their geography for their organization. There's boundaries that are really important to hold. But they don't want to create this whole other thing that doesn't work with the rest of their systems. They don't want it, a lot of them are obviously AWS customers. They'd like it to all work seamlessly together. And so that's what the AWS AI factory is, right? Bringing and providing that large scale compute, but within the customer's existing data center footprint, so it can work as an extension. And we're in the same AWS services like Bedrock and model choice there, SageMaker, those type of things, AgentCore, so they can build in a consistent way, but have that kind of dedicated kind of infrastructure set.
So building systems to the on-premise with the customer, or building data centers for them, or both?
Really good, working with their existing footprint, right? Because that's where customers are starting, right? And these are very much customer-specific implementations. So there'll be a variance, and I'm sure over time we'll evolve how we do it.
It's an extension to the cloud. That's awesome. I love the AI factors thing that's going to enable a lot more tokens. And, and that's going to bring in the agent wave. So all the stuff, Trainium has also got performance news. That was hot news. That's just more speeds and feeds. But I want to talk about the Nova model first, and then that ties to Trainium, but I think this is
we'll go that way.
There. Nova is got a new thing called Forge. This is unique. To explain the thinking behind it and why this way.
Right. So again, start with what's the customer need, right? Customers, of course, have been working to fine-tune models and get them to be more and more specific to their domain and their specific business, right? That's where you get the best value out of it. But there's limitations to how much you can do with fine-tuning, and if you do too much, the model actually kind of loses what it was originally trained on. So you have this kind of tension in the system. So we stepped back and said, how could we fundamentally change that and not have to compromise as it's done? So that was the invention of Nova Forge, which is the first ever ability for customers to take foundational models, Nova, and bring their own data and mix it with Amazon-provided data and actually start training the model at whatever checkpoint within Nova they want based on what they're trying to do. And it gives the customers that first ever ability to say, hey, here's my data that I want to train on. Here's the Amazon data, and get that exact frontier model that's just for them. So really, customers now, for the first time ever, can very effectively build their own unique frontier model, which is amazing.
And frontier is defined as large-scale reasoning, multi-step,
Right.
thinking.
Super powerful, right?
And expensive
LLM.
to build.
Right. They couldn't build them on their own.
I mean, I think this is a democratizing opportunity, but I want to just go back a little quick because what you're doing is the customer's needs flipped. Now, the biggest complaint of the large language models,
Yeah.
frontier models, was I don't want to put my queries in there because
Right. I'm sharing the data.
and every company's
Right.
like, don't use the models.
Right.
So they were afraid to cross-pollinate. We've seen use cases there. You
Right.
change that with this.
Right.
You bring, hey, just use it.
This is all isolated within.
You flip the script.
Right. It all stays within the AWS VPN, right? It isn't blending data that goes out into the world. It stays just to that customized frontier model for that customer. Again, we really work back from what are the limitations and what are customers trying to get out of models, and how do we bring the assets that we have with Nova, with the training data, with the ability from AWS massive customer data to bring that together into a
I was talking to Matt about it. I'm like, it sounds like this like a software development kit for models. It's like, here's the Nova model.
Yeah.
Put your data estate in there and play with it, figure it out.
But even like us, bringing Amazon data for the customer to use as well.
Explain that piece.
So basically, we have like the SageMaker Hyperpod loaded with the Amazon data that we use to train Nova with, right? So the customer can actually, again, really find that right blend of their own data and then the Nova training data. So it doesn't forget everything it was originally trained on, and it can blend in the right way.
That's amazing because I think one of the things that's come up from our current reporting on the large-scale factories and environments now is the number one concern, besides some of the stuff like liquid cooling to make sure things don't melt,
Sure.
is GPU utilization or XPU utilization.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes down to flawed model architecture. So the question is, will customers see a performance increase, or is Trainium
Right.
tuned to this? How does the Trainium news fit into this? Is there a connection? Well,
I do think when a customer is able to get exactly the model they want, it will be optimized in that way too. So you're not spending compute on things that are not useful, or you're over-functioning in areas as well. So that will certainly help. But if we flip to Trainium news, I think just the momentum around Trainium has been amazing. And seeing our third generation show up and just continuing just absolutely crushing that price performance promise for our customers. And then even Trainium 4 announcement of we're already underway with and the performance we're seeing there. And this is, again, just a unique differentiator for
share
AWS.
some of the numbers, because a lot of people they might not understand the level, and you have a lot of data.
Yeah.
The Anthropic relationships has been working with Trainium, all the internal Amazon and AWS work. What's scope kind of the performance and cost savings kind of gains?
Yeah, if you look down, like from a cost perspective, or from a memory perspective, from a performance perspective, we're literally, getting, double. Like we're having it and then having it again as we go forward into each of those. In some cases, even more, right up to 80% from a price performance perspective. So huge. Each one of these generations is big. It's not incremental.
Yeah.
It's big step function changes, right? And obviously, that's a huge driver of what people can do and how cost
And managing
AI
that
is.
with the infrastructure tied to the software allows for the kind of the
Yeah.
AI to help.
Well, and think about because these are our chips, we can just absolutely optimize every last aspect of what we do across the infrastructure from top to bottom, which again is very unique for any provider.
Okay, the final news piece, that the big pillar is the frontier agents.
Yes.
Again, back to the word frontier. Explain why the word frontier model to their data with Nova. You did that already, but now frontier agents. Explain what that means, because this is a little nuanced.
Yeah, it's a new concept, right? But it really stemmed from, as we were building out these agentic capabilities, seeing that if you could do at least kind of three characteristics, it creates an enormous capability jump and performance jump and outcomes jump. And the three capabilities that we really learned by doing and seeing and experimenting was one, completely autonomous. Like you can set it at a very reasonably ambiguous task and it can just run and decide and figure out, right? So that was the first characteristic. And then it was about just massively scalable and then scale up and scale out in that kind of lingo where the agent can, can add multiple of a certain type or it can actually become more diffuse in both ways. And so massively scalable in that way. And then the third one was long running, that, hours, weeks, that it can just go and work without having to be, kind of constantly redirected or having an intervention. And so when you put those three together, both the inputs and the outputs are just game changing. And so we felt like this is a new class of agents, hence the frontier agent term.
Yeah, it's my favorite announcement because I can see the value. We were talking to Deepak and some other senior engineers at AWS, and the capability that Amazon is bringing to agents has been great, and the adoption by developers on Kiro, for instance, has been phenomenal. And some of the conversations were, what if you could have an agent that could know the entire AWS estate? And so, you got Kiro, which could just build anything, so it's easier to build agents. It's kind of like the console for agents. Then you got the DevOps piece, which is a lot of the mechanics and the heavy lifting in running the cloud.
Yep.
And then you got security. So you have now 3 major agents.
Yeah.
Was that intentional, and why that focus?
Yeah, and the agents that, I think most of the world's agents are going to be built by companies around the world, right? And Amazon's going to build a handful of these agents. And we really are sticking to what do we really know best? Where do we have unique vantage point and insight? And obviously, software development is one of those places, right? And it's also a place where we're seeing just a lot of adoption and interest in the market. So it's a good mix. Yeah. And so it really started from a project by one of our distinguished engineers, as he, is interesting. And Matt's has a great story around this of the initial proposal was it's going to take 30 engineers 18 months to do this project. And then they started using these agent capabilities in a different way. And they actually got the project done with 6 people in 76 days. Just totally different, right? And so we're like, wow. But then once you start writing more code and being more productive from a code development perspective, then you're like, well, we have to actually be better and faster at securing that code. And then, of course, we need the DevOps capabilities to manage and run that code. And so it was a little bit of a step-by-step. We felt like, let's not just create one opportunity and then it creates a new bottleneck. Let's solve the bottleneck of the whole software development lifecycle.
You guys can build, deploy, and manage with the agents.
Yes.
So you're basically taking your AWS core competency and you're kind of priming the pump in the market, but also giving value to the customers who are going to want to try to figure out, how do I increase my staff?
Right, and the capabilities and the outputs they can generate.
I mean, everyone has an Amazon team. Our team is 3 people. Then they'd love 10.
Right.
Who wouldn't want 10
100,
more engineers?
Right?
Okay, what's that new service?
Right.
Go test it out.
Right.
All right, so how are you going to market this? Because I think a couple things I want to ask is, one, I love the AI factories.
Okay.
So that's going to be a big pillar.
Yeah.
You got the frontier agents, which is going to create a surge in value in the enterprise.
Yeah, I think they're going to see results so much faster.
What's the strategy? How are you thinking about the positioning?
Yeah.
And to the target customer, who's the target for you? How are you thinking about the go-to-market here?
Right. Well, the wonderful thing about AWS is across all the different parts of the stack, we have incredible innovation. We didn't even talk about AgentCore and the ability to build agents at scale, right? And so it's an opportunity that no matter which customer I meet with, you can kind of walk into this is where you have the most need. You have the most need. So it's great that way.
It's hard to have one strategy when you have a horizontal customer base.
But I think it starts with really, the promise of agentic AI has been out there. It is a top conversation, but what I think about from a marketing perspective, this is the reality of it.
Yeah.
Right? We've built the capabilities and the complete ones as well.
Yeah.
So you can see what the high watermark of what a frontier agent looks like, and then we have all the capabilities for you to build exactly what you need. Right?
Yeah.
So we kind of given you the tools as well as example outcomes, and then let them go.
It's interesting. I've been seeing a lot of conversations and stories around how people are being successful in AI and how they're marketing that. And it seems to be let the work do the talking kind of approach. And I saw a story where it was about these domain-specific analysts or using AI who are taking business from McKinsey and BCG, which are the classic big
Sure.
consulting firms.
Yeah.
With the junior leaders and then the seniors, all big, months and months. So what's happening is that the speed of value was what they were talking about. Like, how could they lose business to this small little upstart boutique? And they were specialized.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a lot of that going on where you can come in
Right.
and innovate as a builder.
Right. Well, go back to the very beginning of AWS and cloud, right? It was when AWS was invented, a small business could have the same technology capabilities as a big enterprise, right? That totally democratized what people could do from any size of company. So I think the same point of this agentic approach that we have is that we're showing people what amazing looks like from an agent outcome, but we're giving every single person, big, small, otherwise, the tools to build whatever they might need. Again, from the price performance at the infrastructure level to their own custom frontier model to the building blocks to create these frontier agents of their own.
Well, the keynote certainly hits like a really cool future acceleration. How's the impact on the ecosystem? Customer value clear. What's your view on the ecosystem partners? Are they jumping into, what's the vibe there?
Yeah, gosh, huge opportunity, right? Both to help customers build on and kind of do all the customization work they want with it. But I think about the other great partners that are benefiting are like our like ISV partners, or an Adobe, right, or Writer AI, who are able to take advantage of all the technology that AWS offers and then fundamentally change their experiences that they offer, right? You're seeing Adobe with Firefly and their creative marketing suite doing incredible things because of the capabilities AWS AI is providing them. Same with Writer AI, right? They're like a leader in these agentic experiences and all that, built and running with AWS.
I think every company that's building on AWS just gets a step function gain
Absolutely.
with agents. All right, what's your hope for next year as reInvent is always a great end of year event. What's your view for 26?
Well, the thing I love about reInvent, but also coming out of it, is just the excitement you see of customers of what they're going to go back and do. And so as we had started in January, I love just sitting with customers like, all right, what are we doing? And see those results. So that's for me the fun part.
Well, the hardest question to ask is which one's your favorite?
Oh, don't make me choose.
Okay.
It's the worst.
I think I love the AI factory vision. I think that's just categorically a generational term, concept. But I think as we get to reality, I think Frontier is the Frontier agents. I think is the one that feels like it's going to be fast, and I think the Nova one feels like rocket ship.
Just a whole different way to unlock model value, right? But I agree. I think the Frontier agents, because they just work, right, it's going to be easy for everyone to see value out of them so quickly, right? And certainly some customers are going to build their own and do all that, and we have all the capabilities. But I do think those Frontier agents are going to just unlock what people hadn't even thought was possible before.
It's hard to pick what favorite. They're all good. Okay, final question on the customers. What is the biggest customer need right now? Because in the enterprise specifically, there's a huge enthusiastic alignment with the AI for their data. A lot of these news hits that. But there's been kind of I won't say pause, but a lot of workloads aren't getting into production. There's a lot of learning and a lot of new startups coming in with kind of an AI stack. So you're seeing a lot of innovation coming in from the ecosystem, but then the enterprises have their kind of incumbent estate. And we've seen a stall of AI adoption in the enterprise. Most of it's been, on at least on the revenue side. The cloud's been doing great. You guys have been doing great.
But the scaling those, right?
Enterprise scale for net new. Okay, here's 5 new major things. Not the low-hanging fruit, RAG search, and things that they've been doing. Real customer-facing value.
Yes, and I think that, obviously talking a lot about it, reInvent, but I think the key unlock, and if I just take it from where am I hearing from the enterprise sector the most excitement back in, and where they're like, this is amazing and game-changing, is actually Amazon Bedrock AgentCore. And these are those agentic building blocks, so that, because a lot of the early, from AI and prompting now into agents like that. Agents, we're going to see the real value, right? I think everyone understands that. Then how do I do agents and actually scale them in the core of my enterprise, not on the fringes and these kind of nice to have things. And when you start doing that, you have to care about the same building blocks you need for enterprise applications, right? Identity management, security, governance, the runtime capability, policy, all of those things. And if you don't have them, you're building them yourselves. And that's what we heard loud and clear from customers, like spending hours and days and months of engineering time doing this grunt work. We're not getting the value.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can do that. That's what our sweet spot is. That's our DNA, right? And so this set of AgentCore fundamental, like agentic building blocks is what is now really unlocking. And that's what I'm hearing from our enterprise customers of like, oh my gosh, this suddenly takes us from fringe agent experiences into the fundamental core of our
So
business.
tinkering was happening. AgentCore gives an interface. And
Building
then
blocks,
the building
yeah.
blocks all can be done there.
Yes, that gives you that enterprise platform.
And they're enthused by that, and their customers.
That is where I'm seeing just incredible,
right.
deep appreciation, and just they're like, this is the unlock. Like we were doing stuff, we had ideas, but this is the unlock. This agentic platform that I can build on.
Well, a lot of people that know theCUBE, we cover reInvent all the time. Everyone wants to know how the replay party is going to go. What's your?
It's going to be amazing. It's always a good time. What I like about it is there's like literally something for everybody, right? You can roller skate, you can rock out to EDM, you can smash cars, like it's all there.
It's always a favorite. It's always a great way to cap the event. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate
You bet.
sharing all the insights for reInvent. All right. I'm John Furrier with theCUBE here in Seattle, getting the scoop and breaking down the news and really what it means, and a lot more learning happening at reInvent. There'll be a ton of sessions. And of course, we'll get theCUBE coverage. Thanks for watching.